New movement. Brush knee. T-stance. Left hand about shoulder, where your fingers are about at your shoulder level. The right hand is higher. We're going to multitask. The first thing that we're going to warm up is to move our right or back hand to our head or ear. Can you do that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth time, the second thing happens. The left hand drops down. 2 things happen. 1, 2, 3. 3 things happen. Head, hand, and heel. We're in a T stance. We want to get into an L stance all together. Head, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. Left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder, T stance. We want to brush our knee. First warm up the top hand or the left hand to the head. 1, 2. This time the hand goes down of the right. Hand goes down, hand comes to the head. Hand comes to the head, hand comes down. 3 things happen. Head, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Right hand higher, drill down on the right, left hand to the shoulder. Multitask, 3 things happen. Head, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step, T stance, L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, T stance, set it up correctly, all together. Head, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Left hand higher, right hand to the shoulder, all together. Head, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, listen carefully. Not everybody's doing it correctly. Right hand higher, left hand to your shoulder. We're not going to part the wild horse's mane. We're going to brush our knee. How? 3 things happen. Do it now. Head, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step, left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder. All together. Head and hand and heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step, hold your ball on a T stance. Okay, so now my turn to show you what you should be doing, okay? So, good platform in which you've started. You're trying to figure it out and trying to make your body do what you think is supposed to be done. If you're right dominant, more than likely one side, that right side is going to be duck-su, so to speak. But the other side is a little goofy because the connections don't seem correct. What essentially you're going to do is the same thing on both sides. First, a good T stance means that I have energy stored on my back or right foot. My advancing foot, which is the left, has no weight because that's the only foot that can move. The left hand is short. It sits to my shoulder, whereas my right is up above here. It's going to steady me with my right leg full of energy. When 3 things happen, these 2 happen. It seems like they're connected. When one moves to the head, the other one drops down. But we have to move into a L stance. So when we move into an L stance, 3 things happen. Head, hand, and heel. Energy still on that right. What do? I turn my hips and waist, move the energy through my system and across my body, out to the tips of both hands and both fingers of both hands. In this bow stance, I need to sit back and sit down. I twist. I store the energy on my left for better balance. I set up my hands correctly. Left hand now is higher, right hand to the shoulder, T-stance. Same thing, head and hand, head and hand. Head, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Okay, everybody's watching, right? Because you're going to drill afterwards, but when you move into a certain position, you don't see. So this time you're going to just watch. 3 things happen. Turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Root down on the left for being steady and obeying gravity. 3 things happen all together. Head, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Okay, ready to try. T-stance, holding right hand higher, left hand to the shoulder. 3 things happen. Here we go. Head, drop the hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step, set it up, left hand higher, right hand to the shoulder. All together. Head, hand down, heel out. Turn hips and waist, brush your knee. Okay, so remember the words, set it up correctly. Good. For some reason, your left side, this right side is not correct, okay? So when I say set it up correctly, run a check. Set it up correctly means that one hand has to be higher, one hand has to be lower, and you have to set it. If you don't have this, you can't brush your knee. So when I say set it up correctly, you say, am I brushing my knee or am I parting the wild horse's mane? Or the left parting the wild horse's mane. But good, because something's telling me that you know how to do part the wild horse's mane. It's like it's drilled in and it becomes natural. Now we just have to make that transition, okay? So let's do 2 sets and then let's kind of move on, okay? All right. This time, let's start this way, okay? Start with our right. Left hand is higher, right hand is to our shoulder, and we're on a T stance, and we have energy stored. We want to do 3 things. Head, hand down, heel out. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Left hand to your shoulder, right hand up higher, T stance, all together. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step, left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder, T stance. Move all together. Head, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. This is our last set. Sit back, sit down, twist step, right hand higher, left hand to the shoulder, setting it up correctly. We're going to brush our knee. 3 things happen. We're multitasking. Here we go. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step, left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder. We're going to brush our knee, set it up correctly. Ear, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, set it up correctly. Okay, put your hands down now and watch, okay? When I brush my knee, I turn my hips and waist and I use my spine to rotate. See if that can be visualized. Ear, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. So when I use my whole body, my hands just move into that position. multitask, turn hips and waist. That hand just stays, moves with my body, okay? Are you watching? The point I want to make is that the hands go for the ride. If we set the hands up correctly, the power of our hips and waist, the energy that's stored, and the spine that can turn, can rotate, does the work for us. That is Tai Chi. It is not merely something like this, where nothing is being used except the upper body, mainly the arms. But what Tai Chi really is that it's has a mystique about it, in that the hands are set up, the hips and the waist and the core drive your movement besides your mind. Very unlike something so rudimentary that you just move like this. It is something more where your core is engaged. How is it engaged? Watch carefully. You set it up correctly. You move together. You turn the hips and waist and rotate that core. And this brushing here, it might be easier if I do it forward. This brushing here has to do with how well you can turn your hips and waist. If you feel that it's just only a hand motion, then this will do it. You're using your hand. But it's not a hand motion, never a hand motion. You set it up and you turn your hips and waist. Okay? So together, everything moves. The top matches the bottom. You set it up, you multitask, you turn your hips and waist. I don't have any hand motion going. Everything is moving according to where my hips and waist are taking me, according to if my hips and waist are moving. If they are moving, if they are not moving, then this is going to happen, no matter where your hands are set up. So all we have to remind ourselves is that to set it up, then use the power of the energy stored and turning of the hips and waist, turning of the hips and waist, and spiraling on our core or our spine, turning this, okay? So this may seem kiddish, but if you put your pointing finger up, okay, if everybody puts up their pointing finger, this is your spine, and it can rotate. So how do you rotate? You turn. This is the body turning, spinning. That's this guy. But once you decide that, oh, I don't know what to do with my hands, then you're going to force the movement through your hand. But once you understand what I'm saying and understand it clearly, then you make your body work for that understanding and knowledge that you have. Okay?